Hey guys, welcome back. So the next project we're going to be working on is going to be a bunk bed, a log bunk bed. So I'm actually here on a friend's property, and we're going to be using logs that I cleaned up about 2 years ago. I power washed them like I did the bench video. If you want to check out how I did that, I pretty much did the same process for these logs, and have had them sitting here for about 2 years to dry under a tarp. So down here you can see I got my tarp set up here. I just took a peek to see how everything's doing. We're gonna have to clean off the mold and the sap that came through, but everything should be dry. So I'm gonna go get the moisture meter, and then we're gonna see where we're at, and we're gonna start building this. So I hope you enjoy the video. So I just wanted to zoom in on this so you can see how I did it. As you can tell, in all these pieces there seems to be a kerf of some sort, and that's because when I cut down the tree, it was still green, and I power washed it and it was still wet. So when I put it away, if I let this sit, all the cracks would have expanded everywhere. So what I wound up doing was I wound up doing a saw kerf to split the heartwood, because the heartwood would expand and has a lot of the moisture, so I wanted to split that. And so that gives room for the outside to open up. So you can tell this is a lot bigger than a saw blade, and so it looks like it did its job, and it kept the outside nice and clean. So we're going to turn those away so where people won't be able to see them, and you're going to have a nice smooth finish on there. So let's get going. So one of the first steps we want to do is check with our moisture meter is see if these are workable. You want them between about 10 and 12%. So let's check out, see what we got. So maybe about 5, maybe 6%. Then we'll do the heart here. It's about the same. So this is definitely workable. If it wasn't, we'd just put the tarp back on, wait a couple more months, maybe a year, and then we'll go back and work on it. But everything looks like it's good to go, so we're gonna get working. So the start of a new day. I'm gonna start staging all the bunk bed stuff right here in the garage. So I'm gonna pull the tractor out and use the tractor to move some of the parts around. And we're gonna start building today. All right, you're gonna have to bear with me on the lighting situation here. I got the light coming through the garage, and then not too many lights in the garage, but we'll work with it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna lay out each section of the bunk bed, and I'm gonna see what pieces I have, make sure I have the right ones in the right spot, start labeling them, and then we're gonna start measuring things out, and we're gonna start cutting them, and then we're gonna start moving into the tenant cutting after that. So one step at a time. First, we're going to start with the layout, and we'll go from there. So as I do this layout, I'm also taking a look at which way all the branches and the posts are facing. For instance, if I take this one, where I'm going to have my ladder here, I'm looking at these knobs, and they seem to be pointing down. Then I'll also look at the diameter of these. This one looks a little bit smaller as opposed to that one. So if I want this to be my bottom, this needs to get rotated 180 so it doesn't look weird when I stand it up. So now that I got the layout where I need it, I'm going to start cutting these to length, starting with the posts. I'm going to probably cut these about maybe 100 and 101 inches tall. Put them in the room, see how they look. Nothing shorter than 100. And then just keep moving my way through all of these. I forgot to mention, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the angle, what's it called, the 90-degree angle, the square, and I'm going to try to guess where the center line of this board is, and where it juts out is going to be my straight line. So that's what I'm going to cut on with the chainsaw, and I'm going to trace it all the way around, make sure I have a nice even line. And from there, then I'll be able to measure straight up to make sure I have 100 inches on that side, and I'll cut that side as well. But first I need to square off the ends. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm gonna switch over to the handsaw. I think it's gonna give me a nice clean edge instead of the jagged chainsaw. So yeah, we'll use this. All right, so I'm starting to cut the other pieces down to the correct lengths. Now with these, since they are gonna have tenons on the end, the cut doesn't have to be very nice looking, so I'm not doing it by hand. Just using a reciprocating saw for that. Gives it a rough cut, but gets it to the dimension I need. Then we'll go back and use the tenon cutter and put the tenon on the end, and the cut won't matter at that point. But got a lot more cuts to do. I'm gonna keep going, and then we'll pick up back later. So I'm going to start doing the tenons now. Got the tenon cutter out from another video. Probably click on the link here and you can see how I made that, or see how it works. I'm going to be cutting a lot of tenons. First going to start with the small ones, work our way up to 2 1/4, and plan to be working on that and well beyond the sunset. All right, so this is the last post that I did. I'm gonna stop here because these pieces, as you can tell as I'm assembling here, they're getting pretty heavy. And right now I don't have the muscle to help move them around. So I'm just gonna dry fit them, gonna put a coat of stain on, and put them into storage, and then we'll move them into the cabin probably a couple more months. But let me show you the second piece here, how far we got. That's the post right there that was on the table I just showed you. Got the rails, so this is the two of the headboards, so I got the lower and the upper. Cross members I got down here, and then the ladder going up with the other, I guess, footboards are there. So let me go back to the place where I can get some light. All right, so that was the end of part one. So couple months I'll put out a part two, and we'll show you where it is in the cabin. All right, thanks for watching.